Yo, what up, what up, what up, what up? Season 2, episode 23 of the Black Box Podcast. We're live, baby. We're live on Facebook. We're live on LinkedIn. We're live on YouTube. What's going on, everyone? I'm really, really excited to introduce my guest today. A good friend of mine. We met each other at Sacramento State. We're both student athletes. And it was just really, really, really cool to meet Dusty and the stuff that he's got going on here in the community in Sacramento. Again, guys, this is Black Box Podcast, the podcast where I highlight Sacramento area entrepreneurs, business people, people in that community that I feel are just doing really, really great work. And I'm really excited to have Dusty on so we could talk about fitness, we could talk about business, talk about a little bit of CrossFit, talk about some entrepreneurship. Dusty, what's going on, brother?
What's going on? Good to be here.
It's a beautiful day, man. Thank you so much for being on the podcast, man. Dusty, just for some context, man, go ahead and introduce yourself. Talk to the community, talk to my audience about what you do here in Sacramento, and give us a nice little brief introduction.
Yeah, my name's Dustin Stumpf. I'm a personal trainer in Midtown Sacramento, inside of Active Life Team Chiropractic. Our gym is called Pinnacle Fitness, and we basically help people out. We basically do assessments, we do mobility, we do strengthening, and we decrease pain. Those are our big three. We kind of get people in and get people feeling better with higher energy levels.
Love it, bro. I'm gonna give you a nice little round of applause, man. Yeah. You know what? It's really important, Dusty. You do great work in the community, man. Obviously, we, as fitness professionals, as people that have been really, really involved in the CrossFit community, we get to know who we are. We get to know each other. We get to know the community. And I think fitness professionals here in Sacramento and just in the world in general are very much really needed. Most of the world, a lot of the world is unhealthy, is obese. There's just so much stuff going on in someone's health and fitness. And for you to own a business that helps people, that helps them get them out of pain, it's just really admiring work. Dusty, was entrepreneurship and business something that you kind of learned as you went along in your fitness journey? Or how did that kind of come about? Like, did you envision yourself as a business owner? Like, tell me a little bit about that process.
I don't think I ever envisioned myself as a business owner until I started getting a little bit more experience working for others.
For sure.
And I think that's probably the case with many entrepreneurs, is that they kind of feel things out and work for others, gain experience, right? Got to gain some experience, work with people. You got to fail a lot of times. You got to get to know what people like, what people don't like. And then if you've got the confidence, then you kind of go out on your own and then apply those things in your own little tribe and create your own tribe and world, and
of course
go from there and build it up from the ground up again.
100%. Dusty, what was your journey like in regards to owning Pinnacle Fit Sac? I know for me, man, I struggled. Like, it was hard. A lot of in the strength and conditioning / fitness world, a lot of free work, a lot of hours, a lot of volunteering. It took me about 3 years to make the coaching an actual career. For you, Dusty, you started doing CrossFit much earlier than I did, and it became a career much earlier than it did for me. So what was your journey like leading up to Pinnacle Fit Sac? Were you at multiple gyms? Were you coaching at multiple gyms? What was that like?
Well, as a student at Sac State, after baseball had ended, I decided to delve a little bit more into getting internships at local gyms. And so I spent a lot of time interning at the SMUD facility for their gym and their employees over there. So I spent about a year there.
Okay.
And then after that, my second internship was at American River CrossFit with Christian Norgard on Arden Avenue. I don't think they're there anymore, but anyways, I got a lot of experience there. I interned there for a year and then just continued. I loved it so much that I continued exercising there, and
love it.
It kind of became family there. The CrossFit community is pretty strong.
Of course.
And then following that, I graduated college and went in, worked at 24 Hour Fitness as a trainer there.
Okay.
And then got a good gig at CrossFit Pipeworks.
Okay.
At the Pipeworks climbing facility there. Worked there for 2 years. And then finally had the guts to kind of go out on my own. I made some connections with some other health professionals in the chiropractic field, Lance Casaza and Dr. Charmaine McGalley They're part of Active Life Team Chiropractic, and we all kind of just started working together as a team. And so they would refer a lot of their patients to my facility, which is actually located inside the same building as the chiropractic office. And we also have 2 massage therapists there. And so the journey's been a kind of a long journey, you know, like you said, it takes, you know, a few years to get the ball rolling. And I think if you have a team and you have good networking skills, and I think the number one thing is trust. So if you've got a team that or clients that trust in you and trust your product and trust you as a person, and trusting the process, because you might not always see progress every single day.
100%,
you might see regression sometimes, you know. It's just kind of the realistic outlook of everything. So been there since 2014 now, and helped lots of patients, chiropractic patients, massage patients, people in pain. And so I'm constantly learning. I'm trying to learn more about myself, more about our patients, what they need, and then going from there.
I love it. You have incredible value, Dustin. You know, you said something really important is the ups and downs of entrepreneurship, and how sometimes you'll see some progress, sometimes you'll see some regress, sometimes you feel like you're stagnant, brother. Tell me a little bit. You know, you've owned Pinnacle Fit Sac since 2014. I mean, that's 7, 8 years now. Like, tell me about the progress in regards to, or even the regression, or even just trying to stay alive, man. How have you processed that mentally? Because in entrepreneurship, it could be really hard being you're the owner. You might not have a team. You might not have employees. You might have this big vision, but sometimes like it takes time, and who knows how long that's going to take. So in regards to the process, like how have you embraced the process of progression, regressions, being stagnant? Like, tell me a little bit about, give the audience some value in regards to that.
Well, I think anybody out there looking to, you know, start their own deal and be an entrepreneur and make money on their own, it's a huge step, right?
100%.
So I kind of look at it as the stock market. You know what I mean? It's this general stock market. You're going to be up and down every day, but you know, in 20 years or 30 years, you know, you want to be up ahead, right? So you're going to have your up downs. You're going to have your down days. You're going to have regression. You're going to have people moving to a different city. You're going to get new clients coming in. And at the end of the day, you kind of need to understand that that's just business, you know? So if you can understand that people are going to come and people are going to go, money's going to come, money's going to go. I mean, look at the pandemic. The pandemic hurt us all, you know what I mean? Especially gym owners and restaurant owners, especially in our capital city of Sacramento. It wasn't an easy time. You know, you had to kind of convince people that health and wellness should still be a priority, even 100%. Though this whole pandemic is happening. You know, having people wear masks during exercise, it's not easy. I know a lot of big corporate gyms had to close down for a long time. A lot of independently owned gyms and restaurants had to close down for a long time. I had to move most of my clients to remote training. So what did I have to do? I had to create more online content, more videos to choose from, a bigger library, more information, more motivations, more calls, more text messages, more this, more that, more time,
of course,
more energy. You know, it's all energy. So I think if you can stay fit and stay healthy yourself,
of course,
then you can supply that will carry on to your clients and the patients that you're helping.
Yeah, of course. You know, I think you brought up something really important, you know, Dusty, is as a business owner, sometimes you just have to think a little bit outside of like what your reality is. So like for you, owning a brick and mortar physical location, how did your community respond to when you started doing remote training? Because, you know, training is important. Like people love to work out next to each other. People love to be in the same vicinity as their coach. So what was that like? What was that process like for you, Dusty, in regards to moving everyone to an online program, or moving everyone to just remote, or however the process was like for you? How did your community respond to doing stuff more virtually or doing stuff more remote, especially for the people that were more hands-on? Tell us a little bit about that.
I'm going to be honest, a lot of people struggled, you
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean? And that's something you just have to accept,
Sure.
because most people like going to a physical location or working personally with a trainer and a
Yeah,
coach, you know that.
of course.
And you and I both know that most people push themselves way harder when they're working with a coach,
100%.
right next to them, and I think there's something to be said about that.
Totally.
I think a lot of people struggled in the fact that the motivation was kind of lacking during
Yeah.
the pandemic.
Yeah.
We had a lot of people gain 10 pounds, right? It's more sedentary, right?
Sure.
Because they're kind of locked in their house. Whether or not they paid for, online fitness programming, whether it be Peloton, or I think they've got the Mirror now, or,
Sure.
there's tons of trainers out there with remote programming.
100%.
So whether or not they do the programming is completely up to them. I
Of
think,
course.
there's a lot of people who belong to corporate gyms, and I think that it's pretty astounding. 70 to 80% of people that pay for a corporate gym membership, they don't go.
You really use it. Yeah.
So you're only seeing, a small majority of the people that are paying
Of course.
actually going to the gym. And I think that was what we saw during the pandemic.
Yeah.
Was, you'd be lucky to see, your clients complete all the workouts that week, or,
Sure.
not have complications, or, I think the main factor was motivation.
Yeah.
And I think the motivation comes directly, and the energy should come directly from the coach.
Of
And
course.
so there's only so much energy there's only so many calls, there's so many messages, there's so
Yeah.
many live video feeds, there's all these things, it just made it a little bit harder. Not to say it was impossible.
Sure.
Some people really, really excelled.
Of
I've
course.
got a few people that dropped 20 pounds.
Love it.
And, they started cycling in the morning along with my programming in the afternoon, and just
Yeah.
thrived.
Yeah.
They just thrived.
That's amazing.
But, and then there were some other people that couldn't wait to get back seeing me personally.
Sure.
So it was a hard time. And, when I first started back in 2014, it wasn't easy at all. I had to gain people's trust. I had to gain the doctor's trust, right?
Yeah.
That's the number
Yeah.
one thing, is if you're working with somebody, you got to gain their trust. You have to
Of course.
gain their trust 100%,
Of course.
because if not, it's just not gonna work.
Sure.
So
Let's talk about that trust, customer service, being in the fitness profession, owning a gym. How do you build trust amongst your members? How do you build trust amongst someone that comes in that's brand new? Talk to us a little bit about that process, because I think that it can resonate with other entrepreneurs. It can resonate with other business people in different industries. So how do you build trust to the end consumer, and also just to your regular members? Like, what is that process like for you?
That's a good question. And I think the answer to that, there's no real 100% answer to that. But
Yeah.
what I've noticed, gaining people's trust, is having a short consult with them, seeking to understand before being understood. So
Yes.
you got to be a really, really, really good listener.
Sure.
Meaning that one person's might not be needing what another person needs.
Of course.
So really knowing who you're talking to and understanding who that person is
Of
going to
course.
help you along the way. So, and it's not the end all be all with one person, and another person might have a different issue, might have a shoulder issue, one person
Yeah.
might have a knee issue. So really seeking to understand what that person really needs,
Of course.
and then telling them kind of the process of what they're going to be going through, and not sugarcoating it at all. You got to be real with people,
Of course.
and I'm at the point in my business where they're not willing to listen to some heart to heart.
Yeah.
And then it may not work,
Of course.
and you just got to be real with yourself, and not every person that comes into your gym is going to be a fit.
Yeah.
You're going to try your best to make it a fit, but you never know with scheduling, how busy we are.
Yeah, man.
You're just going to have to see if it's a good fit. If the scheduling works, great. If they can make it in consistently, that's even better.
Sure.
But I think the trust factor, what I've done is I've given people advice, reel to reel talks,
Sure.
heart to heart talks for
Sure.
about 15 minutes, and then giving them some complimentary advice, stuff that you and I both know that's super valuable to most of the population.
Yeah.
And then just giving them what they need, not charging them anything,
Sure.
you know, just giving all this advice, maybe even giving them some free programming
Sure.
for a month, or
Yeah.
trying out an app to see if it works for their remote training, and just
Of course.
helping them along the way. And
Of course.
then once you build that trust, and once they see that you really truly love doing what you do,
Yeah.
they will gain the trust in you, because they're like, hey, this guy really kind of knows what he's doing, what he's talking about. He cares about me,
Of course.
and he cares about my health and wellness, and that's kind of what we're all about
Amazing.
at Pinnacle Fitness. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that stuff. See, that's good value, brother. You know, you mentioned something a lot earlier, Dusty, was like your progression through owning Pinnacle Fit Sac. You know what, Dusty, what have you learned from the gym business in regards to interning at SMUD, interning at American River CrossFit, coaching at CrossFit Pipeworks, and now owning and, you know, working at 24 Hour Fitness, brother? I mean, you got to experience the corporate side of fitness. You got to experience, you know, the CrossFit community side of business. And then obviously with SMUD, that's a pretty big company, man. Like, what have you learned as a business owner and even as a coach? Like, what have you learned so far from that mesh of those internships, of those previous jobs, of those previous coaching gigs to now being a solo entrepreneur? What have you learned from that?
Well, you just got to roll with the punches, and you got to be real with people, and you got to be personable.
Sure.
You know, personality is huge.
Of course.
I've had to learn how to converse with people.
Yeah.
I've had to learn how to work with people.
Yeah.
Who are in different paths and different times in their journey.
Sure.
So, like I said earlier, you kind of just have to understand the clientele that you're dealing with.
Yeah.
And you know, whether they're employees of a company like SMUD, or you know, 24-hour fitness corporate, you know, all these people are different sets of populations that you kind of have to understand through trial and error and time.
Of course.
You have to give it time. And I think the more people you meet in different gyms, the more value you can bring to yourself, because
100%.
as a trainer, just because you kind of know their background and the history, you know, you're probably going to talk to you're going to talk to everybody generally the same when you first meet them. But if you get some idea of their past, like if they were a college athlete or they played high school sports, you get a better sense of the person, and you kind of get to know them a little bit more.
Of course.
And what they're capable of doing, what they've done in the past, and what they're capable of doing in the future.
I love it. That's awesome, dude. And that's really powerful, Dusty, is being a coach, you know, whether you're in a CrossFit gym or whether you have your own business or whether you're working at any corporate gyms, man, you meet a lot of people. And a lot of people, they all have different stories. They all have different pain and limitations. They all have different anatomies. They all have different backgrounds, brother. You know, from working with hundreds of people, Dusty, how has your communication skills evolved? Like, were you the type of coach early on in your career? Were you a little bit more like militaristic? Like, were you more like harder on people? Like just, you know, because a lot of young coaches, they get really they love fitness, right? Or they love training. And sometimes that could not be the right prescription for someone in regards to doing like intense fitness or kind of having that like strong demeanor. So like, how has your communication skills evolved in regards to, you know, when you first started to now? Like, talk to me a little about that process, because being in a service industry based business and industry like fitness, you have to learn how to talk to people and how to communicate effectively with people, or else they're not going to want to be a part of their gym, or they're not going to want to hire you, right? Because everyone needs to be communicated differently. Just like when you're coaching, some people like to be verbally coached. Some people need to be, you know, touched tactically. Some people need more visual coaching. So talk to me a little bit about that process in regards to like the evolution of your communication skills.
Right. I think the number one thing is that you need to learn as an entrepreneur or a coach or anything is patience.
Yeah.
You know, and if you can learn how to be a little bit more patient, then you can make some big strides. Early on in my career, I noticed that I had a lot less patience with people.
Yeah, for sure. And where do you think that came from, Jesse? Do you think it came from like you having the education already and like you thinking like, how do people not know this? Or like, what was that like?
I think graduating from Sac State and being fresh out of college and having all of this wealth of information
Yeah.
that I learned and applied through
Yeah.
college.
You're excited, huh?
Because,
You're excited to help people.
right. You've been through it. There's a lot of people who'll do a major and they'll graduate and they'll do a job that has nothing to do with their major,
Sure.
right? You and I we're doing what we love to do,
100%.
right? But I'd say there's a very small percentage of risk takers and people that apply what they've learned in college out in the real world. And to be honest, I didn't learn anything about business in college.
Sure.
But I did learn the human body. I did learn how it works. I learned how it functions, and I learned how hard the body can be pushed
100%.
through exercise, and
100%. of course,
what I found out was people listen, but they don't hear you.
You're right.
People listen, but they don't hear you.
Uh-huh.
So after working for, in the corporate world, working for private busices, CrossFit gyms, the 24s, the Planet Fitnesses out there, it really comes down to how you can connect with that individual.
Totally.
And I think gaining the experience, and over the years, I've been better about listening.
Yes.
And there's a reason why God gave us 2 ears and one, so one mouth. So I'm totally all for it. I'm really honed into my listening skills.
Yes.
So I can kind of be a better helper.
Love it.
Because that's kind of what we are. We're helpers.
You're right, man.
We are that middleman.
Yeah.
And when people want fitness, or they want to get healthier, or they want to get well,
for sure,
they need a professional they can count on and they can talk to, and that will listen to them.
Yeah, 100%. That's a great value, but Dustin, as far as communication and someone trusting you, we've talked about these great points. Again, guys, season 2, episode 23. I got one of my good friends here, Dusty, met at Sac State. Just a great fitness professional, someone that's done competitive fitness too. And I want to talk a little bit about that, Dusty. Like, how has competitive fitness and your journey with competitive fitness influenced you in an entrepreneur and in owning a business? Like, how has that influenced you at all? Like, because when we do intense fitness, like you talked earlier, we know the difference between pain and discomfort. And just like when we're doing high intensity CrossFit or doing any sort of intense exercise, we can get to a point where it's discomforting. Just like entrepreneurship, just like business is discomforting sometimes. We're not making enough, we don't have enough members, or we just want more, brother. So how has competitive fitness influenced you in owning Pinnacle Fit Sac? Like, talk to me a little bit about that.
Well, I think there's a direct correlation with the amount of energy and time spent pushing yourself physically and mentally.
Yeah, man.
Whether that be CrossFit or yoga or general fitness, or joining the high intensity fitness class, or joining a Peloton group, joining a cycling group or a running group, it all takes energy and time.
It really does.
And dedication, really, right?
Yeah,
so you got to dedicate yourself with the time and energy. And I think there's a direct correlation with that and striving to become better as a professional in
100%.
your field. So I look at it as like, okay, I'm doing this workout, or I'm kind of competitive fitness. I see how hard this workout was, and how hard I pushed myself. And it should flow right into my work balance.
Totally.
So I should be able to put just as much energy or more energy into my clientele and my work as I did on my workout that day.
Of course.
Now, obviously, my workout is, I don't have time to train 4 to 8 hours a day or whatever I was doing, back in my 20s.
Those are the days.
Those were the days, right? That was great.
Yeah.
Obviously, I wasn't making much money back then,
Yeah,
but I
man.
was learning a lot about myself and my body and my
Yeah.
mental preparedness for
Yeah.
competition and this
man.
and that, and working on a team or individual. There's just a lot of time spent.
A lot of
If
times.
you want to be, you're right. If you want to be fit, if you want to look good,
Yeah,
and ultimately, if you want people to trust you with their fitness,
for sure.
they're going to kind of look at you and say, well, like, kind of what is my trainer doing? Is he
Oh,
doing
yeah.
the same workouts am I doing? Is he doing harder workouts than what
That's
I'm
right.
doing? Does he know what I'm going to be going through in this workout? So I think there's a huge correlation with that. And I think that that's the main motivator for me is to continue to exercise and push myself hard in the gym.
Love it.
And then mentally that can kind of translate to helping others out in similar situations.
Yeah, 100% agree with you, Dusty. That's incredible, brother. I think there is, like you said, a strong correlation between your own personal fitness, your own personal goals, getting a little bit in that discomfort kind of area, and then applying it to your business, applying it to entrepreneurship. Dusty, what are you doing? As fitness coaches, as business owners, we have all these different tools. We have, social media, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok. We're on this podcast right now. Email. Like, what are you doing right now for your business to generate more members, to generate more prospects? Are you looking for that? Do you like where you're at? Tell me a little bit about that. And in regards to what do you do to market yourself more or to get your business out there, just so more people can know what you're doing?
Right. Well, we've got a lot of the different platforms that we're on. Mainly, my favorite one is YouTube.
YouTube, man.
You can follow me on Dustin Raúl.
Love it.
Is my YouTube site, and that's just mainly because there's thousands of videos that I've created over the past few years.
Amazing.
To help people, and what I've done is kind of organize them into playlists.
Yeah.
Just so that it's easier for people to find. Because what I've noticed being so many years in business and having people come in and out of my gym, whether they join or not,
sure.
Right? Because you're going to have to know every consult, every referral isn't going to be a solidified member.
Correct.
Okay? So I had to ask myself, I was like, well, what am I trying to do here?
Of course.
Well, I'm trying to help 100% of the people coming in here. And me as an owner, the business owner, I have to know that not everybody's going to be able to, I'm not going to be able to help everybody first off, but the YouTube site, right. So, but the YouTube site can help them in the way that if I don't see them, at least they have a reference guide so they can subscribe to the channel.
Yeah.
And, if they've got a wrist issue or if they want to work more on their biceps or they want a little bit more definition in the abdominals or they want to get a stronger core, better balance.
Yeah.
Just look at the different protocol playlists.
Of course.
And at least I can help them out that way.
Of course.
Even if I don't see them.
Yeah.
So, and then we have Instagram, Pinnacle Fit Sac, which is kind of where I take the videos from YouTube, and I also post them on there on the Instagram site. Got a Facebook, Pinnacle Fitness, and then mainly is referral based.
Yeah.
So, the front of our office, we've got a couple people working in the front at the front office.
Love it.
And the front desk. So they check in and they come into our office and either see the doctors, myself, my other trainer, Sam, or two of the massage therapists. So they'll be waiting in the front. So it's kind of a family feel. We try to make it a family feel. You're here, you trust us, you're waiting to come see us. I get direct networking with the doctors and the massage therapists as far as trust goes. It's a lot easier to trust somebody if you're trusting your chiropractor or your massage therapist or your trainer, and they're telling you, hey, I think it would be beneficial for you to see Dustin, or I think it would be beneficial for you to get a massage with Nicole or Hector. And, I think it would really benefit you. And if that person's been working with you for a little while, they're going to trust you. And and try out what you're telling them to do. And then that's just networking within businesses.
Uh-huh.
So I think the trust factor, it comes back to trust. And if they trust you, they're going to listen, and then they're going to feel better. They have more energy, like you said, have less pain, which is our number one focus and goal.
Of course.
And yeah.
That's good stuff, man. Dusty, we're 30 minutes here. We're 30 minutes in, brother. The last question for entrepreneurs, for an audience, for anyone that's listening, brother. How important is it for you to work with a team and communicate with your team? That doesn't involve your members, doesn't involve the people coming into your facility. For you and your business, how has it helped you evolve, or how has it become more beneficial in regards for you to be working with a team? Because it sounds like you have everything, right? You got kind of like, you have a chiropractor, you got a massage therapist, a very much holistic approach to fitness and health, and where people can just feel the best every day. So how has it been like for you working with a team, and how has it benefited your business?
I owe it all to my team.
Love it.
Because we have weekly meetings, and I think that's really important.
That's sick.
And whether you have monthly meetings, weekly meetings, bi-weekly meetings, whatever,
sure,
you just need to meet with your team outside of working practice hours.
Yeah.
And that's going to allow quiet time for everybody that's part of the team to kind of brainstorm and go over goals, see if you hit certain things you wanted to hit, create action lists, create goals for the following week.
For sure.
And then you tell everybody kind of what you want to do for the next month, for the next year. We've got annual meetings and kind of seeing how you did for the end of because you have to really spend time learning where you are, where you want to be, and where you've come from in the past.
Sure.
And if you have other people knowing where you're trying to go, they can help you along the way.
100%. Having some metrics. Having some metrics, working with the team, like you said, knowing where you were, knowing where you're at. I think that's really, really important, man, especially if you're looking to build big businesses, or even if you just like a nice lifestyle business that's helping you financially. Like, I think that's really, really incredible, Dusty, that you and your team can all work together, and you guys have kind of this plan of action. Dusty, before we leave here, brother, what is a couple pieces of advice or some tips that you can give other entrepreneurs, that you can give other people that have their own business? Like, from your perspective, you've been in this game for a little while now, brother. What are some tips? What are some perspectives that you can give to the audience, to other business owners, to other entrepreneurs that you believe that can help them and that have helped you?
Well, I think interning is really a main priority. Sure. Because a lot of people aren't really 100% sure that they want to delve into something.
Yeah.
So if they can find a mentor that's willing to help them out, 100%. And they can learn from somebody they look up to, that's going to be huge, because that's just going to be like the first stepping stone. It's finding somebody that can help you, and somebody that's been in the industry for a while.
Yeah.
And somebody that, like we talked about earlier, trust.
Sure. Then
the sky is the limit.
100%.
You just need a good teacher. Once you find that good teacher, there's no money that can buy a good teacher.
Oh, you're right, man. You're right. 100%.
So I think that's my main advice for people. And then the second thing is learn how to fail and be okay with it.
Yeah.
And then the last thing is celebrate your wins.
100%. That's important. I think
celebrate your wins.
Celebrate your wins. Learn from your failures. Get some teachers. Shout out to Josh Gibson. Shout out to Anthony Malta over at ASAP Fitness. Two big mentors of mine that really helped me and really helped alleviate, or that really started my CrossFit, my coaching career. I owe so much to them. So I love them. They've been powerful people in my life. Learning from your mistakes, not being afraid of failure. And just really cherishing your wins, because it's important, man. We live in a world where sometimes there just can be so much negativity. There's so much going on, and we just need to celebrate a little bit more, be a little bit more positive, and just like we're moving forward. And that's really important, brother. Dusty, before we leave here, man, thank you so much for being on the podcast. I appreciate you. Again, this Black Box podcast is for business owners, for entrepreneurs, for people that have been in my life, that are in my life, that I really admire, and that really do great work in the Sacramento community. Dusty, before we leave, owner of Pinnacle Fit Sac, where can they find you, brother? Where are you at? Where's your location at? What are your handles? Tell us about that.
Yeah, you can find us on our website, pinnacle.fitness.
Love it.
That's our website. You know, you can sign up with training there. You can go our location. Our location is in Midtown, 2716 D Street, inside of Active Life Team Chiropractic. You can find us on Instagram at Pinnacle Fit Sac.
Love it.
Our YouTube channel is Dustin Raúl.
Oh yeah.
Yep. Facebook is Pinnacle Fitness. So you guys can follow us on there. Like I said, you subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's going to have the best content with all the videos and stuff on there. Our Instagram is really good too.
Yeah.
Also follow Dorian, man.
Oh, man.
He's doing it right now. Yeah. Thanks for having me on the show. This is exciting. I'd love to be on it again.
Thank you. 100%. I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, you're doing great things, man. I'm really proud of you.
Thank you so much. You know, again, I'm really grateful. I'm really grateful if you're watching. I'm really grateful for the people that have been in my life, because in business, right, it revolves around people. I'm thankful for my mentors. I'm thankful for you, Dusty. I'm thankful for the people that have been in my life, that have pushed me, that have always been a part of my life, that have been just an influence for me to create Black Box and to continue doing what I love doing. And that's just, you know, being a people person, having my podcast, putting out a lot of content, doing Black Box. And without you, brother, in my life, I wouldn't be where I'm at. So thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Please give Dusty a follow, subscribe to his YouTube, go check him out at 2716 V Street. If you need some help with your health and wellness, Pinnacle Fit Sac, you need some massage, need some chiropractic work, or you just need someone that you can trust, that does great work on True Coach and that does great program design, please hit my brother Dusty up. Dusty, what else you got to say, brother?
Oh, life is full of obstacles, man. You just got to have a positive attitude, find somebody that you can work well with and have a happy attitude and enjoy life. Because, you know, we're only on this earth for a short amount of time. So you might as well make the best of it, right?
That's real, brother. That's real. Thank you so much for being on the podcast, Dusty. Much appreciated.
Okay, buddy.